Hi everybody, Jo here. Time for Technique Tuesday, and today I thought we'd have a bit of fun and looking at creating one of these fabulous Christmas baubles. Look, so what we're going to do is go from this. So these are our MDF baubles, look. MDF discs, you can do all sorts of things with them. Obviously, not just for Christmas. So we're going to transform it into this, and it's just a few easy steps. So grab yourself a brew, get yourself a cheeky biscuit, and let's begin. I'm going to put this to one side and we're going to work on this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is add the colour. Now, I'm bringing this little mat in just because I'm going to use one of my Gilding Polishes. And I know it's water-based, but I want to keep my mat, my lovely Lavinia mat, as clean as I possibly can. So the first thing we do is, off camera, I've got an old container here, as you can see, used a lot. And this is where I'm going to pop my disc to dry. Now, lovely polish, if you've not used it before, water-based. The applicator is fabulous because it's in the lid and it's sort of a turn and a twist, and I've got to be honest, it takes me a couple of turns, but that's just me. What this means is two things. One, you don't get brush strokes. I've used products like this before when you have to have a brush and you get brush strokes. Also, you don't need to wash it at the end. But there is a night-night routine, which I will explain. Best way to pop this on is almost just, well, this is the way I found it, is almost just take some of the Gilding Polish just to the side. And I find if I do that, I get plenty on, look, and you get this fabulous coverage. And we'll go right round the edge. You don't need a lot, it goes an awful long way. And so what I would do, or what I do, is I cover one side and it literally dries in, I've got to be honest, sort of 10 minutes. Don't need to prime your MDF, which again is another fabulous thing. But look at that lovely, even coverage. I don't know if I can bring it closer. So what I would do, one coat's all I need, check it's lovely and smooth, and then that I'm just going to pop to the side on my little container to dry. Now, you know me, so I've got some kitchen towel here, so I'm just going to wipe my hand. Again, water-based, so my wet kitchen towel, look. But what I do need to tell you, with this being water-based, we need a night-night routine, just so that it stays this lovely consistency, because it's open to the air, and I could work on this for sort of an hour and it would be fine, but I always just go night-night. Now, when you pop your applicator away, what I've discovered is if I put this away, keep coming back, it can dry out a little, go a little bit hard, and it's a little bit scratchy when I use it again. So the same thing, I just do one spritz on there. Pop that back on there and check it clicks in. When I came to one the other day, I hadn't quite clicked it in. And again, it had gone a little bit dry. I just spritzed it with water and it was fine. But little tip, do check it's clicked in, because obviously I didn't. And that was my mistake. As I say, rectified with water. So that's your first bit. And what you do is let that dry. As I say, it takes about maybe 20 minutes. Time for another brew. But in good old TV fashion, we've got one here that I did early this morning before I walked Eric. And again, it was just drying on a pot. So the next stage is we're going to use some lovely texture paste. So I've got an applicator here. And again, I'm just using it on my mat. Now, I'm going to use the feather leaf stencil for this one. On the one that I showed you originally, I used dynamic, and there are so many stencils that will work really well for this. Honestly, I was spoilt for choice. And all we're going to do, and I'm a bit funny here, I like to put, so where, and again, you can always pop your pokey tool through if you just want to make sure you keep that lovely opening for your thread. but I'm a bit funny. I like to, because this has got circles in it, look, I like to put the circle over there. And again, I think that means I'm a bit sad. If you want to make sure no texture paste goes through, you could make sure your solid design covers it up, look. Now again, lovely creamy texture paste. If you texture paste, again, water-based product. If your texture paste dries, again, add a spritz of water. Now this one is a lovely creamy consistency, but I have used other brands that are a little bit thicker, and again I do the night-night routine and I just spritz them with water before I put them to bed, but no need with this. Lovely creamy consistency. So we'll scrape that across and we'll pop that back in there, because now I've got a piece of kitchen towel here and I'm just going to spritz that over Eric off camera. And because I'm not going to wash this straight away, I'm just going to put it on my wet kitchen towel, look, and that will just keep it moist so that when I do come to wash it, it'll wash off beautifully. Now, as you can see, we have got a little bit of texture paste, and I just put my little applicator, look, take it round very carefully, just so that there we go. So check I've got it all away from there. Lid back on, palette knife on the wet kitchen towel, tightly on, that's ready to go next time. Now the bit we're going to do now is we're going to introduce some embossing powder. Now this one I'm going for rose gold. I'm sorry, I just want to wipe my finger because I've got a bit of texture paste on it and I just want to try and keep, as you know me, clean as possible. On my original one, this one, I used this fabulous metallic copper sparkle, and I wasn't sure how much sparkle I would get, but I'm happy with that. But I like to try different things, so I'll show you this one. This is rose gold. Again, I popped a piece of copy paper underneath and I'm just going to cover my whole bauble. I love doing this. Again, tip the whole pot on and very carefully lift it up, just tap its bottom, and look at that. I mean, I've got to be honest, I just think that is it just me? Please let me know. I think that looks gorgeous. Now, for me, I like to let that dry. I like to let the texture paste dry. I just find if it air dries, it gives me a much better result. But by all means, do practice, have a little play, and see the best way for you to get your results. I like to leave mine overnight. I just find for me it works better. So there's the one we've just done, and here's one that I've left overnight. And then what you do, so I'm going to put that over here, and it's almost having a little bit of a conveyor belt, a little bit of a system, and I find it works really well. I can almost do by the time I come back now, I was going to say, sorry, half a sentence. I like to do my texture paste while my gilding polish is drying. So if I bring back the original one, look, that's dry now. I can actually look. So if you wanted to do a few, make a sort of half a dozen of them for Christmas, I would put your gilding polish on one. Then as that's drying, have a coffee, come back, put gilding polish on another. As that's drying, do this, and literally have a little system going. Going to pop my heat tool on, so obviously excuse the noise. I've put it on its fastest. Just make sure it's nice and hot. And then I'm just going to start in one corner, and hopefully you'll be able to see as the gilding polish will be fine, the heat doesn't affect it. But as the embossing powder embosses, now I'm trying my best with the camera work, but sorry, it's not very easy trying to get it so you can see it. I'm hoping you can. And just slowly work your way round. So just this bottom bit here. Slowly work it round, look. Oh, that last little bit there. Oh, look at that. Can you see that bit bubbling? Look at that. I'm really hoping you can pick that up. I have to say I've not used this colour before. I'm really impressed with this. So this is the rose gold. Now the last little thing that I like to do, I'll just give you a good look at this. Last little thing I like to do is, you could decorate the other side. So again, I would do one side at a time. But obviously you've got a little bit, look at this, that's a bit messy. So all you do is take this out again. And very quickly, I mean, you could add your embossing powder on the edges if you wanted, a gold pen. But where's my water? And even if I just use this once, look, I still do my night-night routine. That, click, check that's clicked in well. And again, bit of wet kitchen towel on my hand. You know me. But there we go. And if my little hole here, just pop a little pokey tool through, look. And if you struggle with getting, little tip before I go, with getting your thread through, the best advice I can give you is make almost an old-fashioned needle threader. And I just use a piece of, this is actually elastic. And I pop the elastic through, look. Obviously I should have shown you this before I did the sides and they were wet. So I pop the elastic through and I would then put my thread through here and just pull it through and the thread will come through with it and you'll be amazed how much easier. So I just keep a little piece of elastic. You could use, I'm sure you could twist a paper clip, but anyway, that's a little tip. So there we have, as I say, the sides on this are just drying. So if I move that out of the way, so there's that one. There's the one that's all dry and I've threaded up. And then I bring this one in. There's that one that's just drying overnight. So I'm hoping you enjoy that. I do fancy just flicking a little bit of snow on here as well. I'd love to see you makes. If you make some, please share with each other. I mean, there are so many stencils that I think this would work really well with. I'm hoping you enjoy it. It's just a fun thing to do. And who doesn't love watching embossing powder turn? Thanks for popping in today. It's always such a treat to spend time with you. Honestly, you cheer me up no end. We're so lucky on here, aren't we? You take care. Have a lovely weekend when it arrives. And I'll see you all again next week. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.